Hello visuals, and welcome back in, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Superhero Wednesday, the day of the week we talk about anything nerdy and weird and flexy shenanigans, and we just be little weird mental arseholes. And this week we're going to do something we haven't done in a very, very long time, and that's a comic book review. That's right, we found some, well, I think it was actually B that found this place, a new place where I can carry on collecting my comic books, because, long story, shenanigans happened and stuff happened, but I've got a new place where I'm going to start getting my comic books from. And with the recent release and the recent successful release of the Peacemaker TV show, I found a beautiful comic book. Mostly I wanted it for the artwork, but it turned out to be a great read. And that is Peacemaker, Disturbing the Peace comic book. Look how friggin' amazing that is. So I thought, let's do another comic book review, because it's been a while since we've done these, and I'm quite half tempted. I don't know if you want it, but to do Comic Book Wednesday again. Don't know if you want it or not. You have to let me know. I'm very, very tempted, because I enjoy. That's what the channel started on. But I figured I would do this spoiler-heavy review, I guess, of this Peacemaker comic book. It's from the DC Black label, which is even better because we know that it's going to be full of gore. And this is a one-shot. As far as I'm aware, it's just a one-shot. There is no to be continued. There's no anything coming afterwards. It just ends. But Peacemaker, Disturbing the Peace, fantastic, fantastic, beautiful, beautiful read. And again, this is a character, Peacemaker, I'd heard of. Didn't really give a shit about, knew very little about, till the Suicide Squad came out and the Peacemaker TV show, and I fell in love with him. Maybe because it's the John Cena aspect, you know, my favourite wrestler of all time. Maybe, or no, the fact that he's just a great character done so well. I thought, I need some Peacemaker comics in my life, so I'm going to start collecting now. If I can get my hands on some older stuff, I would love that. But at the minute, I'll get my hands on what I can. And my first thing is Disturbing the Peace. This is a very interesting read. In fact, I did say spoiler free tonight, because I ideally, if you're reading a comic book, watching a comic book review, I assume you read comics or have already read. But if you haven't, I don't want to spoil the end, because the ending's quite a bit like, and I got there myself, and I was like, oh, I kind of want you guys to get there yourself as well, if you possibly can. But the basic layout of this story is, we meet up with Peacemaker, he's meeting a shrink, or a psychiatrist, whatever you would actually properly call them. And she's basically just sort of asking him, sort of the you know, normal sort of shenanigans, but they're sat at a graveyard. There's your opening panels. They're sat at a graveyard, he's talking, you know, she's asking him questions, and he's being very blunt and you know, and just vague, and he's sort of just like, yeah, to it all. And we get to these moments where she kind of opens up, and she's sort of like, she's like, the stuff you've experienced. She's like, oh, it started long before then, you know, because my parents killed themselves. And you get to this shot, very graphic here, by the way, visuals, I'm going to let you know, where we see a hanging dad and a mother in the oven killing themselves. But the worst bit is, I'm going to try and find it. Here it is. And then the twins were in the washing machine on rinse, I think it was. So the parents had also killed his siblings, the twins, in the washing machine. And the fact that he ends it with, she's like, apparently they'd been depressed. The note went in quite some detail. They decided to take the rest of us with them, planning to kill him as well, but he was late home from school. So Peacemaker survived. Completely different origin story from the show and whatnot. And so he had twin siblings, and they were in the washing machine on rinse. The fact that that's a disturbing thing on itself. But the fact that he had to point out the fact that they're on rinse, you're like... And then that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the read. We get to all of these different sort of montages and different war and whatnot, and how he's just sort of not moved at all. He's so stern. He's just like, it kind of is what it is. It's not that he doesn't care. I just think he's so blunt and so reserved, and he's so just cut off from like the feelings and stuff. It's a bit... It's very dark. Then he starts to go on and tell this story about this couple that picks him up. There were a couple of crackheads, just to put it bluntly. And we see that, you know, she starts talking about them and what they're like. He was just in the back of the car because it was his dad's car, and they just took it. They're like, oh, there's a kid in it, should we kill him? But then he starts to like, nah. And again, as a kid, he's got this stern sort of look on his face, like, oh, I'm not bothered. And ultimately what happens to this is the car goes crashing and whatnot, and the people start to burn alive. And we get to this, again, another panel of, look, one of the people that picks him up they wander out the car. Can you see his face burning? And we get to that. They're burning. They're literally saying, "Help me, help! Get the door open! Get the door open, boy! The door!" And he's just, nah. And then we come to another very significant part of this whole telling this story of the shrink about not only, you know, he was late for school, couldn't go, so he didn't get home in time, so his parents missed the killing of him and themselves, so he was able to survive. Then he goes through all this shenanigans. He picked up his couple. One, he doesn't let the lad out the door when he's burning alive, and two, the girlie that picks him up, she's in the car. She's like, I can't feel nothing. And then he comes over and is that a word? Smothers her, suffocates her, stops her from breathing, and kills her himself. And, you know, all along the string, she's thinking, Jesus Christ. You can see her facial reactions like, this guy's fucking nuts. Like, he is gone. And again, if the show's anything to go by, we do know he's gone, but he's sort of slowly redeeming himself. And then we get to the end of the story, and then he shows something because, like I said, he revisits all, you know, the stuff from the past and all the things that went through the different wars. And this final page, which I'm not going to show you because, again, I would like for you guys to get there yourself. It's very... If I can try and spoil it to actually show you a little bit without showing too much, to show you that's the look of expression on somebody's face, like because of something that's said and something that has just been revealed to her. It's such a fun, great read, but at the same time, as long as you can handle the dark shenanigans, you know, because, I mean, the twins were on rinse. What the fuck? Really am slowly falling in love with this character. Obviously, at the minute, it's kind of rarish you do this. I'm more familiar with our live action version as opposed to this version. But Peacemaker as a character seems to have so many different layers and so many different depths to him. There's so many different sides. Again, he wants peace, but, you know, he'll kill every man, woman and child to get it. But now, as we see for the show, he's starting to bond more, commit more to his friends, you know, looking at his past, the whole Rick Flag flashbacks and whatnot from the show. And then reading stuff like this where we do see why he's so cut off, and because it starts off, he's not exactly a little he's not completely dead. He seems to be, I got home late from school, which was what saved me, but he's just a normal school kid, he's doing his thing, and then he sees this, and it kind of seems to be somewhat the catalyst for it. I mean, we don't get to see what his true emotions were at the time. We just get to see what happened afterwards, because this might have been the thing that tipped him over and sent him over the edge. But this is as an individual comic book, and for the story that it is, it was fucking great. It was great to look at the psyche. We didn't go on a new adventure of Peacemaker roaming the streets, fighting whoever it is or doing whatever it is they're doing. We just got to look at somebody's mind and their past and what makes them tick and why are they like this. And this is actually quite at the back. There's a nice little quote here by Dr. Sedgwick. My point is that everywhere you go, in every unit you serve with or alongside for 25 years, something's happened, people have died. So no matter where he goes, people die, chaos ensues somewhere, and it's all in the name of peace. He's a very unhinged, untrustable, unreliable, maybe... Well, no, you can rely on him to get the job done. He's a very complex character. He's not just a toilet bowl head. There's a lot going on here. And I can't wait to ever meet John Cena, because I actually want him to sign this for me. My first ever Peacemaker comic book. I would love for John Cena to sign it. Peacemaker, Disturbing the Peace. How much did it cost me again? I can't remember what you priced it. $5.99, so we're talking about £4 or something like that. Was a great read. We got to take another, my real first look in paper terms of the psyche and the mind that is Peacemaker, Chris, and it gives us a nice little look at memory lane. Well, not a nice look at, a look at memory lane and what's happened. It doesn't really give us much into the future of the Peacemaker, but again, we'll see what happens. As far as I'm aware, this is just, like I said, just a one shot. I hope to God if there is a number 2, that would be fantastic. But usually with comic books, it gives you the next cover issue and stuff, and that doesn't it? But it was a great read. It's just going to get a solid 10 out of 10. I was just my jaw dropped straight away because of the whole, they were on rinse. I can't get it out of my head. That's just so fucked. But there we go, visuals. That was my Peacemaker, December the Peace comic book review. I recommend you go get and find out that bottom, find out that last page for yourself. Obviously, it helps more if you've read the story, then you get to the last page and you're like, what? But visuals, Peacemaker, December the Peace, 10 out of 10. And hopefully I reviewed that well enough. It's always different because it's been so a while since I've done a comic book review, so it's always different when I get from comic book reviews to film reviews and whatever. But yeah, let us know the bits you didn't like about my review as well. Say that was a bit shit, you mumbled a bit too much here, you can't really, because I am a fucking idiot, let's admit it. But let me know in the comments about anything you want to let me know. Apart from that, visuals, thank you so much for watching. You guys are literally the fucking best. Rules keep being you, and keep on web singing out.